Hello, and welcome back to another edition of the Coach's Corner here at Upon Further Review, which you can catch us each and every week throughout the high school football season, as me and my sidekick Eric Dutkiewicz will cover all the games from Friday nights as well as preview uh, and post wrap all the games that we cover each and every week for the 1380 The Fan High School Football Game of the Week. So we will be back at it again this year with the same coverage as that we had in the last year, being our first year. And you can catch us on any podcast platform as well as our Twitter, Facebook, and Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. We've got our podcast and our video cast available all year long on those platforms, as well as again this year, 1380 The Fan will broadcast our coverage once again once the 10 cap season is through, and those details are to be worked out. So no affirmative day and time yet for that to be broadcast. But back to what we're here for today, and that is the continuation of the top recruits in the 260 for this high school football season. Some of these young men have already picked up offers in the Mid-American Conference as well as some Power Fives. We talked about Brock Scott last week or the other day, and his things that make him attractive to some of the Power Five schools. And today, a little hometown bias, as we're going to talk about Columbia City High School's wide receiver Stratton Fuller, who came on the scene late last year, had a great season as it pertains to what he did for the Eagles at the wide receiver position, as well as a DB. He is about 5'11", about 175 pounds. I'm sure he's working to get his weight up, but that was only his sophomore year, so he's got plenty of time to develop and get better. He does have an offer on the board, I believe, from Eastern Michigan, but it's still early in the recruiting process for Stratton, as I think schools will wait to see how things develop for him this year, and then, of course, next year's camp season. But let's go over to some video here and talk about Mr. Fuller from Columbia City. I've got my quick scout clips ready and loaded, and let's talk a little bit against New Haven last year against Milan Graham. You can see Stratton here just kind of runs right by him because Milan was flat-footed. Does a great job here going up, getting the ball, adjusting his body, and then finds himself getting to the end zone there against New Haven last year. Here's another great catch by Stratton. Again, he putting himself in a position to go up and get it. In between two defenders, does a good job of coming down with the football. Now you get to see him here a little bit as a cornerback, and you can see his eyes and reading his defender as well as making sure the quarterback stays in the pocket. This is against Leo, and I believe this is against Brock from last year, as he would normally get the big assignment of going up against their top player. Here's one where he out competes Brock for the football, makes a big interception in that ball game last year. Wide receiver wise, here's a double move. Does a good job of giving that hard pressure step to the outlook there, and then he routes himself back on top. Again, a little bit underthrown, does a great job of coming back and finding the football and making the play. I think one of the big things that I think with Stratton is going into this year, and maybe a couple question marks. One, he's going to the size component, 5'11". Not that that's not big enough. You're going to have to be pretty good speed wise. But what I like about him is his precision in pass routes. in his route technique and running. Here's a prime example: double move, slant, and go. We call sluggo. He does a good job of giving that pressure step right there, as you can see, to get that corner to bite. He sees him. As soon as he sees his hips go, he gets out on the outside. Nicely thrown football, and he gets in the end zone. But I think this is what makes him a good wideout, is his technique and how he sells routes. Here's a good job of him getting on top of the corner, as we call it stacking the corner, where he's trying to work back on top of the corner right here and put himself where the corner is now on his backside. So anytime he goes up for the ball there and that corner hits him, it's going to evolve into a potential pass interference, as well as him making the catch, which he does here for the touchdown. Again, goal line routes he's very good at because of his technique. Again, not the greatest thrown football, but it's within his radius. He does a good job of going up with both hands. Watch him look the ball in. This is another thing that I like about him. Technique-wise, he understands that for him to be a solid receiver and be a guy that can be depended on, route technique and mechanics are going to be his best bet to defeat maybe what he lacks speed-wise. Not to say that he's slow, but he doesn't have the gift of speed like a 4.3, 4.4 guy that you may see in Mylan Graham or Tay Johnson and those guys, because we've got a lot of talented receivers within the 260 area code. Again, route technique. Watch this one here. Does a good job of hitting that left foot pressure step to get himself separation from the DB, and then he makes the catch on the outside. So he's very dependable. And if I remember correct, this may have been against Norwell on a key drive in the championship game that they needed a first down on. It was 3rd and long, and he made a great play. That just goes to show you who they're going to go to in those situations. Again, really can't see the route as much here. Just an uncontested ball that he goes up and makes the play. Kind of a hard play action type of play where he just kind of runs what I call an arrow route. And, again, good technique, getting the ball thrown to him. And then you can see there he gets the big touchdown. But again, you can see that he's a guy that makes a lot of plays for the Eagles. He's going to be a player that is going to continue to get better. And I think he's going to be one of those guys that is Mr. Dependable for Columbia City this year. And I think with this season upon him and heading into the next camp season, we'll make a bigger determination of where he may end up. Eastern Michigan put an early offer on him. Not surprised. But I think there'll be others waiting to see what he does this year, as well as camp season. So camp season next year, as well as this year, games that he'll play will be critical for his potential other offers that may come to him. But I think he's a solid receiver. I think he's one of the better route runners in the area. He does a great job with his technique, not only his footwork, but his body placement, as well as his ability to catch the football. And then don't forget, he's a pretty darn good corner on the outside as well. So he gives himself a couple different avenues to approach as it pertains to the next level. I see him more as a receiver probably, but beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But I really like Stratton and what he gives Columbia City on the outside, as well as what we have in the Fort Wayne area in the wide receiver department, because we have a lot of talented receivers in Fort Wayne, and he's right there with them. So appreciate you joining me again for another edition of the Coach's Corner here at Upon Further Review. Appreciate you watching my take on some of the players within the area that are the top recruits. Next time we'll continue on with some of the receivers that have gotten offers. Again, there's another gentleman by the name of Caden Hurst out at Leo High School. And of course, we'll get to Mylan Graham and Tay Johnson as well. But next time we'll do another receiver, and we'll look to do Caden Hurst from Leo High School. So for myself and everyone here at Upon Further Review, thanks again for watching. We'll catch you next time on the Coach's Corner.